Hey guys!
Your business can be a part of Colorado Outspoken.
You can have your logo at the beginning and end of each of our programs.
And on our website.
We have sponsored packages for any pocketbook.
Send an email to sponsor@coloradooutspoken.net.
Or call us at 303-861-0829.
I will contact you personally, and you can be a sponsor of Colorado Outspoken.
Good evening, and welcome to this edition of Colorado Outspoken. I'm Steven Montez. On tonight's show, we'll be focusing on the Imperial Court of the Rocky Mountain Empire and filling you in on all the wonderful charitable work they do. We'll explore addiction and see if LGBT folks are especially vulnerable. We'll also be going to the Rocky Mountain Regional Rodeo so you can see what gets all those gay cowboys and cowgirls all excited. Yeehaw! And we'll be giving you a preview of the upcoming annual exhibition of the work of some of our best gay and lesbian photographers. And of course, we have the news, a first look at a movie, and the bulletin board. All that's coming up right after Nicole Garcia tells us about our first guest, the Imperial Court of the Rocky Mountain Empire.
If you have been out and about in the community, you may have attended a drag show. You probably have seen people walk up to the stage and give the performer $1. The first time I saw this, I asked the person next to me, "Is that how the performers make a buck?" "No," she replied, "it's a court function." If you aren't sure what that means, I have two people with me tonight who can explain. From the Imperial Court of the Rocky Mountain Empire, I am honored to introduce the consummation of the crystal, the freshwater pearl pig empress of entertainment and fun, Empress 34, Janelle St. Christopher. The legend of the silver eagle, the heart of the teddy bear emperor, Emperor 34, Pauline Chavez. Welcome, Pauline. Welcome, Janelle. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you.
So, Pauline, I'll start with you. What does the title mean?
The title is, well, my title, the legend, it started back when Emperor 7 was crowned and he created the legend. So after that, every emperor has a legend before their name. So mine is the legend of the silver eagle, and I picked the eagle because of my Native American history. And the teddy bear emperor, I'm the heart of the teddy bear. Frank Nacarado was the teddy bear emperor, and in honor of him I became the heart of the teddy bear emperor, and that's what my name signifies.
That's wonderful. And I do notice that you're wearing a medallion.
Yes.
And a ring. Are
Yes. Those are the symbols of our office, yes.
Excellent. I do have to notice emperor is generally associated with male. You don't look male to me.
No.
So are you the first female emperor?
No, I am the second female empress. There hasn't been an empress, a female emperor in 14 years, and her name was Diane de Herrera. She was the first emperor.
So why did you decide to run for emperor?
Oh, I decided to run for emperor when my friend took me to a coronation, and I saw them crowning the emperor and empress, and I was just like, oh, I was in awe over this. And I thought, that's what I want to be. I don't want to be an empress. I didn't want to wear dresses, per se. So I wanted to be emperor, and I had to learn what it was. I had to find out what they did, and I learned what drag shows were. I learned how to entertain, how to collect money, and how to help the community. And it took me 12 years to get there, but it was a lot of hard work. I had to take care of my community and help it out and expand and learn a lot. It's very hard.
Wonderful. We'll talk a little bit more about your involvement in the community.
Thank you.
But I don't want to step too far away from Janelle. Janelle, tell me about your title and how you came about to choose it.
I am known as the Consummation of the Crystal. The crystal titles came about during the 16th reign with Empress 16 Bubbles LaRue, and each crystal attribute describes that empress, and in my picking or choosing of the consummation was being the fulfillment of the crystal. We are 34 years involvement with our crystal titles. Like Brandy Roberts is the attitude of the crystal. Go figure that one. Empress 21 is the age of the crystal. Turning 21, you become the certain age. So we certainly have our attributes with our crystal titles.
Excellent. Now, in my opening, I asked about when you give $1 to a performer, where does that dollar go?
All dollars go to charities. It's a charity of our choices or the community's choice.
So, anybody on your court or you don't draw a salary?
No, we do not. Everything goes back to charity.
Everything is volunteer.
Everything is volunteer.
Yes.
So all of your time and effort you just give freely.
Yes.
Yes. We pay for our own costumes. We pay for, if we want to tip somebody, it comes out of our pocket. If we travel to another coronation, it comes out of our pocket. This is volunteer, and this is how we take care of our community.
So obviously the court means a lot to you.
A great deal.
Yes.
So I've heard that every reign has their own charities. What charities have you selected?
So far, what I've chosen is P-Flag. We did a show a couple weeks ago for P-Flag. The Snowball charity is for Chesney Klein John, and most certainly is Colorado AIDS Project. We've always decided to include them during our reign.
Mm-hmm. How about for you, Pauline?
Mine is Chelsea Klein John along with hers, but I love CGRA, which is Colorado Gay Rodeo Association, and breast cancer. Yes.
And also one thing that I know that's been fairly consistent is the White Rose Foundation.
Yes.
Janelle, you want to tell me about White Rose?
The White Rose was started during the third reign with Empress 3 Billy Cassandra. As a tribute to her Empress title, the White Rose Empress. It has evolved throughout the 34 years of the court's involvement with the community. It's a scholarship foundation that awards any student who wants to further their education. There are no biases, no discrimination. It's anyone who wants to continue their education.
So
they don't have to be gay, straight, whoever, and age doesn't matter.
So is the White Rose a part of the court, or is it work in conjunction with the court?
It's in conjunction with the Imperial Court.
Works hand in hand.
Hand in hand?
Yes.
Excellent. So you will have shows specifically for White Rose, and then you'll also have shows for AIDS Project?
Yes, and we have what we call a decade show, and that is a White Rose Scholarship Foundation show. And that will feature all four decades,
Yes.
4, 14, 24, and 34 reign.
So when I attended your meeting, I was invited to attend a couple weeks ago. I heard more than just shows being discussed. What kind of other activities do you have going on in the community and with the community?
Well, there's a great deal.
This past couple weeks, we've volunteered at they had their rodeo. It was the 25th anniversary for CGRA, and they needed volunteers for security. And we worked hand in hand with them. We volunteered our security for them, our people for them. And while we did that, they're going to give us $1,000 for White Rose Scholarship because we help them out. They're going to help us out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of hand in hand with other organizations in
Correct.
the community.
By all means.
Now, when you said you travel, where are places that you have traveled? Janelle?
We've gone to Salt Lake City, Phoenix, Arizona.
I'm going to Boise next weekend, and the weekend after that she's going to San Diego, and after that we're going to Minneapolis.
So when you travel, what do you do when you go to other cities?
Each city has their own court system, much like the Denver court system, and where they elect and crown their new Emperor and Empresses. So we get to participate and be involved with them as well.
So at their court functions.
Yes.
Correct.
And bringing up court functions, your next function I notice is Snowball.
Yes.
Yes.
Who sponsors or who puts on Snowball?
The snowball function is hosted by the Empress, which is myself, Empress 34, Janelle St. Christopher.
Mm-hmm. And so what does snowball signify?
It's the Empress's charity function, which will be for Chesney, Clay, and John. And there are a couple other charities involved as well.
So when you go to a court function, for somebody who's never attended, tell us a little bit about what it's like to walk into a court function.
Ooh. We have entertainers, we have the MCs, and what they do is they entertain on stage. And if you like what you see or hear, a lot of people go up and they tip them $1, and that's how we raise money, through a beer bust, through tipping, through auctions. Sometimes we'll bring a basket and we auction that off, and the money that we get will go toward the charity. If we do breast cancer, or Chelsea Klein John, or CGRA, or Gay Pride, or anything else that we do.
So November 17th is a snowball. That's your function.
Yes.
Correct.
The first function I ever went to was a King of Hearts ball.
How exciting.
And my understanding is that's the Emperor's ball.
Emperor's ball, yes.
Tell us about the King of Hearts.
The Emperor's Ball is the King of Hearts. It will be March 15th, 2008 at the 4 Point Sheridan. And it's almost like coming to an end of the era. Like with Snowball, this is the Emperor's Ball. Well, this is my ball, the Emperor's Ball. And you just have a lot of fun, and it's in a theme. And my theme will be pirate theme, so it'll be kind of fun.
What?
Pirates.
Pirates.
Yes, it'll be a lot of fun. So it'll be great.
King of Hearts is also infamous for the candidate campaign function.
Yes.
Kickoff.
Where we bring in new candidates. That's when they can
make their first impression.
Yes, that's when you know who's. I mean, you'll know who's running, but this is like the kickoff of, okay, this is who's going to be running for the next reign.
Because I remember my first, and I think I've been to several King of Hearts now. There's always a lot of fanfare.
Yes.
And a lot of hoopla.
Yes.
At the King of Hearts.
Yes.
And then I would suppose you would call it the end of your reign would be the next coronation.
Coronation.
Who sponsors the next coronation? Or is it a duel?
It is mine and Pauline's stepping down, but it's hosted by the Board of Directors of the Imperial Court. And it signifies, again, the closing of our reign, but certainly the kickoff of a new reign and a new beginning.
Wonderful. And coronations are very elegant also.
And well attended.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because other courts from the United States, all over the United States, come and support us. So in April, when we have ours, there'll be a lot of people coming to support us and watch us step down, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Great fanfare.
Yes.
So we're still actually relatively new in your reign, so we don't have to talk about ending it. But as you're looking to the future, Pauline, what do you want to have your legacy of your reign?
Mine will be education, because there's a lot of things in our community that a lot of people don't know about, that a lot of that can help us, that could better us, like Chelsea Klein John, like Howard Dental. A lot of people with AIDS don't know that they can go to Howard Dental and get their teeth fixed for free, or Chelsea Klein John, where there's a place they can live where, you know, where people with AIDS can help. And a lot of people don't know that, and don't know that we have all this access out there. So I hope my legacy is to educate everybody in the community and let them know that we have a lot of access there, that we don't have to go outside of the box, that it's right here for us. Mm-hmm. It's right here, and we can better ourselves.
So you really want to be a conduit of information and education?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm. Janelle, what do you want your legacy to be?
Fun. Truly, and again, I think it goes hand in hand with Pauline, the education that the Imperial Court inspires for other people to enjoy. We've been here for 34 years, and we certainly hope to be in existence for another 34 years. But I think that education can certainly come through the involvement of fun.
The involvement of fun.
Yes.
Yes.
So the court does the drag shows, does the beer bus, it does a lot of entertainment, does education.
Raise money for scholarships.
The White Rose Foundation.
Correct.
The scholarships. Is there any, I noticed back in the day, I used to go to the executive towers for everything, but it looks like everything now has gone to 4 Points?
Four Points Sheridan, yes.
So have you had a really good turnout there?
Yes.
What time everything changes and evolves, Executive Tower is now an educational housing for students. So we've gone outside of our normal and taken it to a different facility in hopes to make more people aware that we're still here and that we're still having fun.
Mm-hmm. So, and what other ways do you feel that you can reach out to other groups? So you reach out to CGRA?
Correct.
And you reach out to what other groups?
Gay Pride.
Gay Pride. Oh, tell
Yes.
us about, that's one thing I forgot.
Gay
the Gay Pride,
yes.
celebration. Somebody I asked to be here tonight, but she's busy working, as Brandy Roberts. She's celebrating her 20-year.
Yes.
And I believe you too have, both of you have celebrated some anniversaries. Tell us about your reign.
I am the 10-year anniversary Gay Pride, and I will be stepping down this Saturday as 10-year. And she was last year's 10-year anniversary, so we have a bit of history together.
Both with the Gay Pride?
Yes.
Yes.
So you work hand in hand. So is there a lot of crossover between all these organizations? You've not only been involved with Pauline, the CGRA, but Gay Pride.
And GALA. GALA is Gay and Lesbian Latino Alliance. And I was Miss GALA 10 years ago. Well, 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I went on to be Miss CGRA, which is Colorado Gay Rodeo Association, 2004. And then I went on to be international, first runner-up. So.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I've been a lot.
So how do you get volunteers or get people to join the court system?
I think through basic communication, let everyone know that we're not just a single group of people who want to just entertain by themselves. We would like the entire community to participate because what we do goes back out to the community. So basically, I think it boils down to communication and letting everyone know that we're here and that we still want to be involved and participate with all organizations.
Wonderful. Well, there is so much more we could talk about, but our show is only an hour. So if you want more information about the court, visit their website, www.denvercourt.org. I would like to thank my guests, Empress 34, Janelle St. Christopher, and Emperor 34, Pauline Chavez, for being with me tonight. I'm Nicole Garcia for Colorado Outspoken.
Thanks a lot, Nicole. It wouldn't be summer in Colorado without the Rocky Mountain Regional Rodeo put on the Colorado Gay Rodeo Association. Here's a look at some of this year's action.
CGRA is one of the oldest associations within the International Gay Rodeo Association. We began in 1982. This is our 25th year, which we're very proud of. We've been the only association that has had continuous rodeos for 25 years each year without taking a year off. Everything we do is for charity. Everything's given away at the end of the year, and this is our big fundraiser. So we've given away hundreds of thousands of dollars each year to Colorado GLBT organizations. The traditional events are more like bull riding, bareback bronc riding, roping events are all traditional events you'll see at any PRCA rodeo that you go to. The gay rodeo events are kind of unique, and they're typically camp events, and those include the wild drag race, go dressing, steer decorating. You know, those are just the ones that you won't find at a straight rodeo.
I imagine those are pretty popular.
Those are probably our most popular events among the crowd. We want to make this a family event where parents can feel comfortable bringing their children. My parents are in the stands, my in-laws are in the stands, so everybody's just having a good time, and we want it to be a family event. Everybody has a big shoe to fill when they try to fill Wayne Giacchino's shoes, but Chris is doing a very good job. We also brought Kimberly Kay on this year as our assistant announcer, and they've both been doing a fabulous job for us. Well, I think that you'll find that CGRA is the only one that's made 25 consecutive years. The community in Colorado, you couldn't ask for a better community. If you look through the stands today, you'll find just so many people here willing to support their community, and that everyone knows that this is a charitable event. And we're just proud to say that for 25 years we've been able to give back to the community.
Magazines are no longer coming in plain brown wrappers, increasing acceptance of gays and lesbians, and a gay kiss banned in a high school yearbook. All that is coming up to you in the news with Rick Miller.
A new crop of opinion polls reveals major progress on many LGBT fronts. According to CNN Opinion Research, a majority for the first time believe a person's sexual orientation cannot be changed. A New York Times, CBS News MTV survey reports younger Americans are more likely to support equal marriage rights, and 3 in 4 GOP voters queried believe people should not lose their jobs on the basis of sexual orientation. The number of LGBT people who report workplace discrimination has stayed roughly the same since the early 1990s, despite the passage of numerous state non-discrimination laws. According to a study from the Williams Institute at the UCLA School of Law, 15 to 43% of LGBT people interviewed from the mid-1990s to the present said they experienced job discrimination based on their sexual orientation, versus 16 to 68% reporting such bias in a 1992 survey. Does gender reassignment surgery qualify for a tax deduction? A Boston transgendered woman is arguing that it does. According to a story in the New York Times, the woman has sued the Internal Revenue Service over its rejection of her $25,000 deduction for her gender reassignment surgery. The IRS views it as an optional cosmetic procedure. The trial, which could set a legal precedent, is scheduled to begin July 24th. Reparative therapy for homosexuals is being reviewed by the American Psychological Association. While the association opposes treating homosexuality as a mental disorder, its policy stops short of criticizing so-called reparative or conversion treatments. The association has established a task force to reconsider its 10-year-old policy. Task Force member psychiatrist Jack Drescher said, "Conservatives don't acknowledge the harm that might be caused when a gay patient, even voluntarily, undergoes therapy to suppress or change sexual orientation." Conservative religious organizations, such as Focus on the Family, are pressuring the APA to show respect for religious commitments of clients who have unwanted same-sex desires. Civil unions are not the same as marriage, at least according to United Parcel Service. UPS grants medical benefits to same-sex couples in Massachusetts, where equal marriage is the law, but it denies them in New Jersey, where same-sex couples can have only civil unions. UPS says that since the New Jersey law does not call such couples spouses, it cannot offer medical benefits. Nearly 200 same-sex couples have filed complaints with the LGBT rights group Garden State Equality because their unions have not been recognized in New Jersey. The New York State Assembly's passage of a gay marriage bill by a vote of 85 to 61 was a personal victory for the bill's sponsor, Assemblyman Daniel O'Donnell. O'Donnell, who also happens to be Rosie O'Donnell's brother, was joined by his partner, John Banta, during the emotional debate. The Advocate magazine's July issue was the first to be sent to subscribers without an additional wrapper screening the magazine's cover. The change in mailing format, which will be extended to Out magazine and other Planet Out-owned titles, was made in consultation with readers, who in a poll supported dropping the wrapper for environmental and political reasons. The Ad Council, which has introduced such well-known taglines as "Loose lips sink ships" and "Friends don't let friends drive drunk," is developing a public service campaign to address anti-gay language and harassment in schools. The Ad Council will work with GLSEN, the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network, to develop the campaign, which will launch by the end of 2007. This is the Ad Council's first effort for the LGBT community. A jury awarded $6.2 million to a firefighter who said she was harassed by colleagues because she is black and a lesbian. Brenda Lee's lawsuit against the Los Angeles Fire Department also claimed her superiors made derogatory comments about her and forced her to perform strenuous exercises without proper safety precautions because of her race and sexual orientation. The jury payout was the largest in a string of recent settlements of cases alleging discrimination and retaliation against women and minorities within the fire department. A California appeals court has ruled that 3 congregations that left the Episcopal Church after the appointment of a gay bishop have no claim to their church's properties. The court held that the properties belong to the local diocese and the Episcopal Church, not the congregations. The ruling overturned a lower court opinion. The State Department should immediately hire back military linguists who were fired for being gay, according to 2 U.S. congressmen in a letter to Deputy Secretary of State John Negroponte from Democrats Tom Lantos and Gary Ackerman. The congressman called the policy absurd and highly biased and said it cripples our national security. Lantos is chairman of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, and Ackerman is chairman on the Subcommittee on the Middle East and South Asia. The letter said, "We are writing to urge the Department of State to take a specific step in the hiring of our unfairly dismissed, language-qualified soldiers so our nation might salvage something positive from the lamentable results of this benighted policy." The Newark, New Jersey School District has apologized to senior Andre Jackson for blacking out a photo of him kissing his boyfriend. Jackson paid $150 for the photo to appear on a photo page of his school's yearbook. The board offered to supply a new edition of the yearbook with the original photo restored to any student who requests one. Newark School's superintendent, Marion A. Bolden, previously called the photo illicit, but similar yearbook shots of heterosexual couples were not censored. Supporters of a landmark measure to provide rights to same-sex couples in the South American country of Colombia have pledged to keep alive the legislation after conservative foes killed it through a procedural maneuver. Colombia would have become the first Latin American country to offer same-sex couples similar rights as their straight counterparts. And finally tonight, we want to remind you that Gay Pride will be celebrated in Pueblo on the weekend of August 18th and 19th. There will be a dinner starting at 5 p.m. on Saturday the 18th at the Pueblo Convention Center, followed by a concert by the group Nemesis. On Sunday the 19th, the Pride Parade starts at noon along Main Street with a rally from noon until 5 p.m. at the Arkansas Riverwalk. To finish off the celebration, there will be a party at the Gold Dust Saloon from 6 until 10 p.m. Until next time, this is Rick Miller for Colorado Outspoken.
Addiction can ruin anyone's life, but are LGBT people particularly vulnerable? Here's Fawn Oates to take a look at this issue.
Are you more at risk for substance abuse? You might be. Drug and alcohol use is a significant issue in the GLBT community. We see it in the media, in the community, and often in our own homes. What's causing this phenomenon, and what can be done to help solve this pressing problem? To help us wade through this wide-reaching conundrum is Judy Calhoun, the Executive Director of the GLBT Community Center of Colorado, which is the lead agency for Smoke-Free GLBT. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you. Delighted to be here.
Fantastic. Nicole Fardell is a local psychotherapist who is working on providing competent care to the GLBT community, including making treatment for substance dependence a safe place for anyone, regardless of sexuality or gender identity. Glad to have you, Nicole.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Well, let's start with Smoke-Free GLBT. What is that, Judy?
Smoke-Free GLBT is a statewide project funded through some of the tobacco tax grants that includes the center and 6 project partners around the state and here in Denver, and then also our youth services program through Rainbow Alley.
So are we starting to see more treatment that's specific to GLBT or programs that are addressing GLBT?
What we are doing right now is actually doing some data collection. One of the issues for the GLBT community when it comes to a variety of health issues is that we've not been studied. Sexual orientation and gender identity are not usually questions asked when data collection is done on a variety of health issues. So we're trying to find out a little bit more about why people in the GLBT community smoke and what could help them stop smoking. What have they tried, what's worked, those types of things. And then we'll start to model, do some test projects based on that information. We've also been doing some work between our project partners and the local county tobacco programming, so that the counties are starting to include LGBT issues within their tobacco work. We've been doing some training of the quit line to make the staff on the quit line, again, more sensitive to sexual orientation and gender identity. And then based on what projects work, what seems to be helpful, we'll be doing more work in the community around Colorado. Our project partners include the Lambda Community Center in Fort Collins, Boulder Pride in Boulder, Pikes Peak Gay and Lesbian Community Center in Colorado Springs, Western Equality in Grand Junction, El Futuro here in Denver, and Brothers Forever also here in Denver.
So it seems like this has become a huge issue, not only in Colorado, but
nationwide. Yes, nationwide it's an issue.
Is it true that the gay community is more at risk for addictions? Nicole, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely true, unfortunately. The research just tells us that we're at higher risk, that, you know, for youth who are going through the same issues that all adolescents are going through, they have the added piece of sorting through their identity, you know, their sexual identity or their gender identity, of dealing with homophobia, of heterosexism, and that just puts on the added stressors, you know, in youth, but for the whole community that really put us at greater risk. Another piece is that the care, you know, the treatment isn't always available to the GLBT community in a safe way. You know, you don't know if you're going to go into a group and if you disclose your identity, how's the group going to react? Sure. Are the providers going to know issues specific to what you're dealing with? So I think a lot of things that Judy is talking about is so important, to have that outreach, to have a place for people in the community to go that they know they're going to get safe care.
And does that include smoking? Are we more at risk for smoking as well?
We are definitely more at risk for smoking. Actually, lesbians smoke almost 3 times the rate of straight women.
Wow.
And gay men, it's about 50% higher than straight men. LGBT youth, again, smoke at significantly higher rates than their straight peers. So, and those are, again, limited studies, but a number of them, and all seem to point to some of the same issues in terms of that. And one of the things we were talking a little bit earlier about that Nicole brought up, you know, in an area like Denver, that's a large metropolitan area, it is much easier to find resources. You get into more rural areas, less populated areas, and the resources are more limited, and you do worry much more about how safe those resources are.
So I go into treatment and it's a very unfriendly, unsafe place to be. Possibly. Am I going to finish it out? Possibly, am I going to complete my treatment? Do we know anything about failure rates of treatment centers for gay and lesbians? You don't have to know that. I'm just wondering.
You know, one thing that I did read was that there's, when you have GLBT specific treatment, so like the center offers a 12-step program, that the treatment rates and the dropout rates are much less. The treatment is much more successful than when someone gets treatment just in the general area. So.
Excellent. So that's good. That says a lot for smoke-free GLBT.
Right. And for any of the work that our agencies do around any kind of substance abuse. It is really important. Whether or not people use the specific programs, also knowing that a program they go into is going to be sensitive to sexual orientation and gender identity issues is really important. Knowing that your healthcare provider is sensitive and aware of those issues and is going to be open is also really important. And much of the work around substance abuse has to do with healthcare.
Sure.
I mean, it's
so in Colorado, people can use your Find a Provider website.
And that's all. I mean, that's part of the resources that an agency like the center provides. But again, in some of these rural areas, our project partners with Smoke Free GLBT are dealing with much more limited resources, much less friendly and supportive
Atmosphere.
community. Yes,
Sure.
yes, yes.
So what can be done, whether it's substance abuse or whether it's the quit line, what can be done to make it a more friendly atmosphere or safe atmosphere for GLBT people?
Training providers, making sure that there are very clear statements that there will be no tolerance of any, type of homophobic comments made in the group, addressing issues, asking questions about people's identity as they're coming in, being able to do that on a one-on-one basis. One of the things that I've been doing at the University of Colorado is working on developing a treatment program for students who are at risk for getting suspended from the university. And that brings the issue up right there of how do we make that an inclusive group so that all people, can come in and feel like it's a safe environment. So one of the things we do is, have a one-on-one meeting with them, have check-ins regularly to make sure things are going okay, but also just advocate in the group, make statements ourselves as, group leaders that are very, affirming and inclusive of everyone.
Showing good models for behavior.
Exactly.
What are you telling the people at the quit line?
The training we've been doing on the quit line is general sensitivity to LGBT issues, trying to have them actually ask the questions, because part of it is if the question doesn't get asked, if you don't get asked about, what's your, whether you want to actually say what's your sexual orientation or what's your living situation or describe your home environment or who are the significant people in your life, some of those types of things, if those questions don't get asked, oftentimes for many people it's hard to bring it up. The work I do, I get really used to saying, my partner this or whatever. But for a lot of people who are in a much more closeted environment, or again, as Nicole said, don't know whether it's going to be safe, how often do you say, well, I'm gay and
you're putting yourself out there quite a bit. That's quite a big risk.
You're taking a risk. And then for folks who are transgendered to go into those issues is an even bigger risk. And you're already confiding something, you're calling the quit line to say I want to stop smoking, or you're going to an AA meeting to say I want to quit drinking, or another 12-step group, or another substance abuse program. You're already confiding something that's incredibly personal. And so it's really important that the providers are open to asking some of those questions that make it a safe place.
And open to letting the client decide how they want to deal with that. Do they want to be out in the group? Do they want to discuss that? And not assuming that their identity is necessarily a contributing factor to their substance abuse issue, because it can be and it cannot be.
Do you think that it's beneficial to have strictly GLBT groups for recovery?
I do.
Why do you think that would be beneficial?
Because you're in a group of people where people are going to get it, it's going to be safe, you don't have to have that added pressure. It's hard enough to go in and get treatment to deal with this. And so if you're going into a group and you say something, there's some comment made against gay people by another person in the group, that could be a trigger to use. I mean, if you experience, the homophobia in the group, that's part of what you're dealing with outside of the group. It's just not a good situation. I mean, I think there can be groups. I think we need to have groups that can have everyone there. I don't think we need to have only exclusively GLBT groups, but I think it is important to have that option available. Definitely.
Judy, do you think that that kind of atmosphere, as Nicole was saying, would act as a trigger and maybe even keep people from seeking treatment because of that?
I mean, my sense is that it probably keeps people from seeking treatment, and it may be a reason to leave treatment. If you get that kind of a trigger, you don't want to go back. Not a substance abuse issue, but we had a person who called in several months ago whose partner is in an Alzheimer's care facility, and she wanted a support group, and she'd gone to one of the general Alzheimer's spouse support group and didn't find it supportive because somebody had made a comment.
Sure.
You know, another person might not have reacted the same way,
but we don't really need any more hurdles.
We don't need any more hurdles, not at all. What's interesting when it comes to tobacco is that some of the research shows actually that LGBT folks are not necessarily interested in support groups. And I think it'll be interesting to see as we finish our surveys this spring as part of the Smoke-Free GLBT project, to see what people really do say. The research
instead of trying to force something upon them that may not even work, may not even be interested in.
And a lot of the data we have is from a study done in California.
So we still need more research.
We need a lot more research on our community, especially when it comes to our health issues, and we need those folks that do general health research to include sexual orientation and gender identity. Those are important issues.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, we're running out of time. And I want to go very quickly. And I want to hit on a little bit of what would you suggest to our viewers if they're dealing with either a substance abuse problem or a smoking problem? What would you suggest to them, Nicole?
To definitely contact the center to find out about some of the groups that are going on there, to use the website for finding the treatment providers. Look for support in your friends, with your family as well.
If it's there, if that's available.
If it's available, absolutely.
Judy?
And I would say get help. We want this community to be healthier across the board, and that's really important to us. And if you have friends that you think have substance abuse issues of any sort, give them the support to get help too. I think as a community we've kind of not necessarily pushed our friends and those people who are really important to us to get help and to take care of themselves.
And often we have this idea that, well, they're not family, so I shouldn't dictate what they have to do, but they call us family for a reason. I mean, our friends become our family.
Exactly.
They are our main source of support.
Well, and I think we want to be supportive of each other. We want to be open to all of our differences. We've lived in a society that says this is the box you're supposed to be in, and we don't want to be in that box. But when it comes to substance abuse, encourage, if it's something that you personally think is an issue for you, get help. And if it's something that's an issue for the people around you, encourage them to do it, because that's showing you care about them.
Yeah.
And if I've learned anything from tonight, it's that there are resources available. There are safe places to go. So I think that was a great idea of contacting the center, looking at their website, and getting more information.
And getting more help. Yeah.
Well, thank you both. I know we've just hit the tip of the iceberg, but that's all the time we have for today. Darn it, we'll have to pick this up a different day. Well, we have to leave it there for tonight. I want to thank my guest, Judy Calhoun.
Thank you.
And Nicole Fardell.
And thank you, Fawn.
Thanks for being with us tonight. Be safe and have fun. Good night.
Each year for the past 10 years, the Colorado Gay Photographers Guild has held an exhibition of the work of some of its best members. This year, its 11th exhibition will be held through August 17th at the Square Deal Gallery on Colorado Boulevard. This is something you don't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Mike Mays, Mr. Leather, Colorado 2006, inviting you to join me for my step down at Colorado Leather Pride Weekend in Denver, August 3rd through the 5th. Everyone's welcome, in or out of leather. For more information, go to coloradoleatherweekend.com or contact me at mrleatherco2006@yahoo.com. And that's only one of the things going on in our community. For everything else, you need to watch the bulletin board.
Hey guys!
Your business can be a part of Colorado Outspoken.
You can have your logo at the beginning and end of each of our programs.
And on our website.
We have sponsored packages for any pocketbook.
Send an email to sponsor@coloradooutspoken.net
or call us at 303-861-0829.
I will contact you personally, and you can be a sponsor of Colorado Outspoken.
If you're a child prodigy, it can be difficult if you really want to do something in life other than exploit your special talent. That's what the story is explored in tonight's movie, Vitus.
Wir haben eine richtige Wunderkind. Bist du wahnsinnig geworden? Wenn er seine Hände verletzt.
Am liebsten würde ich jemand anders werden.
Wie wer zum Beispiel?
Ach, normal.
Keine Gelegenheit, uns die Lehrer lächerlich zu machen. Am liebsten vor der ganzen Schulklasse.
Fledermausforscher, Architekt, Chemiker, willst du alles nehmen? Wie wär's mit Banker, Taxifahrer? Jetzt weiß ich. Pilot.
von meinem Leben.
Fawn Oates is now playing at the Chez Artistes. If you'd like a pair of free tickets, just give us a call on the movie line at 303-861-0829. We'll give a pair of free tickets to 10 randomly selected callers. Well, that's all we have for this edition of Colorado Outspoken. We want to thank all of you for joining us. We'll be back on Sunday, August 26th at 10 p.m. right here on KBDI Channel 12. We hope to see you then. And of course, you can always catch us online on our new website at coloradooutspoken.org. I'm Stephen Montez. Good night.